Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, guys. So what I have for you guys today is going to be our last prediction video for the 2017/18 season, and we have a huge game to go ahead and predict. Of course, tomorrow it is the Championship playoff final between Aston Villa and Fulham. So this is a video where we're going to be going ahead and predicting what we think the outcome of this game will be. FIFA 18 is also going to make their predictions, and of course I am very interested to see what you guys are predicting for this one. So if any of you guys do successfully manage to get your score predictions correct, then I will include your comment at the start of the next video, as well as your score predictions. I'd be interested to hear from you guys. Who do you think is going to get the man of the match for this game? As well as that, who do you think are going to be the goal scorers? I'll be revealing everything that I think will happen in this video here today, but I'm very interested to see what you guys are saying for this one. As well as predicting the Championship playoff final, I'm also going to be throwing in my predictions for the League 1 and League 2 playoff finals at the end of the video, and I'll throw my Champions League prediction just for the sake of it at the end of the video as well. But of course, the main thing we're here for today, guys, is to go ahead and predict the Championship playoff final. And speaking of the semi-finals, actually, guys, I will include your guys' comments on screen now. So if any of you guys did get any of your second leg predictions correct, then I will include your comments on screen now. And fair play to everyone who did get one of these correct. You know, not the easiest results to go ahead and predict. Of course, we saw Fulham go ahead and beat Derby by 2-0, and we saw a 0-0 draw take place between Aston Villa and Middlesbrough. And before we do get into my score prediction, guys, I'd also be very interested to hear from some Derby County fans, as we of course have seen Gary Rowett leave to go ahead and move to Stoke City. So Derby fans, let me know down below what you guys are thinking. Who do you want to come into the job? And what do you make of Gary Rowett? But enough of that, guys. Let's go ahead and get into my score prediction for what I think will happen in the playoff final. So it has all come down to this in the Championship. We're seeing third go up against fourth in the final, and I think that, you know, not many people can have too many complaints about that, especially as both these two sides were the better teams in the Championship semi-finals of the playoffs. So obviously, myself not supporting either of them, I just want to see this be a good game of football. And when four are involved, that's definitely a possibility. You know, the football we've seen them play throughout the majority of the season, really. You know, I'd argue they are probably the best side to watch in the Championship, even better than Wolves sometimes on their occasion. Going up against this Aston Villa side, though, I don't get the impression that this game's going to be a completely flowing game of football. You know, we've seen a lot of instances of that in previous years of the Championship playoff final. Traditionally, these are very low-scoring games, so it would surprise me if there were to be a lot of goals being scored in this one. You know, if we cast our mind back to last year when it was Huddersfield going up against Reading, that game actually went ahead and finished as a 0-0 draw, and it was decided in the end through penalties, and of course Huddersfield were the victors on that day. If this game goes down to penalties, then it will be insanely dramatic, but I do see in the 90 minutes, I see Fulham controlling quite a lot of the possession. You know, that midfield three that Fulham have, I think, are going to be absolutely pivotal to this game, but I feel like Aston Villa won't mind Fulham having a lot of the ball. It's just going to be when Fulham do get into those penetrating areas, that's when Villa start to press, of course. One player who I think is going to be key for Fulham in this game is going to be Mitrovic. We saw in the first leg of that playoff semi-final against Derby County, the game that Fulham lost, Mitrovic was very isolated in that game, and that's just how Villa are going to want him to be for this final, of course. If players like John Terry and James Chester can go ahead and have top performances in this one, keep Mitrovic isolated from the rest of the team and not let him get those flick-ons to any of the wingers or the midfielders coming to support him, it could be a very frustrating day for him. But he just needs that one chance, and that one mistake from that Villa back line could cost them dearly. Another player that Villa are going to have to look out for is, of course, Ryan Sessegnon. Been on remarkable form for the whole of the season. One thing you could say, though, about this Villa side is, you know, they managed to keep quiet Adama Traore for 2 games in the playoff semi-final when they were playing Middlesbrough. So as they were able to do that, you know, you got to give it to that Villa defence. They are incredibly organised, especially when they have Mile Jedinak sitting just in front of them as well. They are a very hard team to go ahead and break down. It wouldn't surprise me to see Fulham have a lot of the ball, but not really penetrating Villa as much as they would like to. If we then talk about Villa going forward, though, they of course had their own threats of their own, and probably the biggest threat that Villa have coming into this game is going to be set pieces and Robert Snodgrass's deliveries. They are just absolutely on point this season. I think Robert Snodgrass Snodgrass in the end has finished the season on around about 14 assists, and what a player he has been for Villa this season. He has been absolutely exceptional. When you've got some of the people who he's going to be delivering those crosses into as well, the people who've got a real good aerial threat, Fulham are going to have to look out for that in this game. There's no question about that. As well as that, we've also got the threat from Jack Grealish going forward. He's a player who can unlock a bit of space. Fulham are going to have to keep him on tight marking. Albert Adoma as well, got pace going in behind. And as well as that, Conor Hourihane, a bit of a player who can go quite unnoticed sometimes for Aston Villa, but he is certainly capable of scoring an absolute wonder goal. So it's quite an interesting battle, these two sides going up against each other. When it does come to Fulham, I'd be very interested to see what game plan they actually go ahead and supply for this game. Throughout the majority of the season, we've seen their fullbacks just bomb on this season, make overlapping runs, and that's how they've actually scored a lot of their goals this season. Is Jokanovic going to be bold enough to keep to that game plan in a game as big as the Championship playoff final? Fulham fans, let me know down below. How do you think you will be approaching this game, and how do you think you should be approaching this one? But in terms of how I see this game going, I think that the first half will end 0-0. I think that it will be two sides just trying to figure each other out. There'll be a couple of chances for each team. No one will take the lead. And in the second half, I feel like this game may be decided. In my opinion, it's not going to go to extra time and penalties. There is going to be a winner in 90 minutes. And honestly, I see this game heading towards a 1-0 victory. Now, that could go either way, but in my opinion, this game is going to be won by Aston Villa. I've just got a gut feeling that this game will be Villa's time, and it's going to be a very slim margin of victory by 1-0. And so, in terms of my goal scorer, I'm going to guess that it's going to be a Robert Snodgrass delivery into the middle, and I'm actually going to go for a James Chester goal. I think that James Chester is going to win the Championship playoff final for Aston Villa. But if I am wrong, and it is Fulham to go ahead and be promoted, then their key man for this, in my opinion, is going to be Tom Kearney. He's going to have an absolutely superb game for Fulham if they are to be promoted. He's that cog in the midfield who just makes them tick, and if Fulham aren't promoted this season, I think there's a high possibility that he will be leaving in the summer. You know, in my opinion, he's more than good enough for Premier League football, and he's shown that in his past few seasons at Fulham. In terms of FIFA's prediction for the Championship playoff final, they've gone ahead and predicted Aston Villa to go ahead and win this game on penalties. So that's going to be very dramatic. So FIFA's predicted a 0-0 draw after 120 minutes, and then they've gone ahead and predicted Villa to go ahead and win this one on penalties. So make sure you guys do get your score predictions in the comments down below. I'd be very interested to see what you guys are saying for this one. So I'm saying 1-0 Villa, James Chester. Let me know down below what you guys are saying. And just before we do wrap up the video, guys, I will go ahead and give you my score predictions for what I think will happen in the other playoff finals, which are happening this weekend. So the playoff final in League One is taking place between Rotherham and Shrewsbury. Now, I must say I've not watched all too much League One and League Two football this season, not as much as I did watch in previous years especially, but for this game, I see this one actually heading towards penalties. I'm going to predict this one to finish as a 1-1 draw, and then on penalties, I'm going to go ahead and predict Rotherham to go ahead and win 4-3 on penalties. Rotherham, they've got a pretty decent record at Wembley. Then in terms of the League 2 playoff final, we then got Coventry going up against Exeter. For that one, I'm going to fancy Coventry to go ahead and get a 2-1 victory. And then we've also got the Champions League final to go ahead and to look forward to this weekend. For the Champions League final, I'm going to go ahead and back a Real Madrid 3-1 victory. I think they are going to do it 3 times in a row. So there are my predictions for what I think will happen with all the football that is going on this weekend, guys. So make sure you do leave your score predictions in the comments down below. I'm interested to see what you guys are saying for this one. But apart from that, guys, that will now wrap it up for this video. So if you have enjoyed, make sure you leave a like. It is always massively appreciated. As well as that, make sure you do subscribe for some regular Championship content. But apart from that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.